Hi, everyone. We're on Patreon. Find the link in the show notes. Show off your love for being curious with the official Info on the Go merch.
Whether you're sipping your coffee from our sleek mug, staying warm in one of our cozy hoodies, or rocking that fun fact inspired t shirt, or just carrying one of your essentials in our reusable tote bag, you'll be repping curiosity and style everywhere you go.
Each item is designed with our curious, on the go community in mind, and every purchase helps support the show. Wear it, sip it, carry it. Info on the Go is more than a podcast, it's a way of life.
Patreon, find the link in the show notes. Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat.
and that makes this info on the go.
We're answering questions you want to know.
And you picked this one, right?
I did. I have bad allergies, and usually I get sinus infections at least once a year. And my doctor, he just told me he was going to quit prescribing antibiotics for me. And he suggested that I break down and go buy one of these nasal irrigation systems.
And did it help?
Yeah, for now anyway. And pollen is my kryptonite.
Nasal irrigation on a dash of info.
So, Kat, I guess the first thing we need to do is answer the question that probably everybody has is what is nasal irrigation? It's also known as nasal lavage or nasal wash. It's a home treatment designed to rinse out your sinuses.
Ooh. The sinuses are air-filled cavities located behind the bones of your face, typically remaining open to facilitate easy breathing.
However, these sinuses become irritated or inflamed. They can fill with mucus, leading to nasal congestion. This can make breathing difficult and cause discomfort.
Nasal irrigation involves flushing out the sinuses with a saline solution, a mixture of water and sodium chloride or salt.
So, where did the idea of nasal irrigation come from?
Well, it dates back over 5,000 years. The practice has been a cornerstone of promoting sinus and allergy symptom relief.
While its roots are ancient, it gained recognition in Western medicine during the 19th century, evolving into a widely recommended technique for maintaining nasal health in modern times.
I would have never guessed that it dated back that far, man.
I would not have either. And we're going to get in, I don't want to like spoil the stew or whatever. We're going to get into some history of it and we're going to find out why it's starting to make its way back from ancient times, like how it went away and why it's on the rise again.
Mm. Well, let's take a more detailed look at that.
Okay. The origins of nasal irrigation lie in jala neti, a practice intrinsic to the ancient Hindu medical system known as Ayurveda.
With its foundation firmly rooted in the Vedas, ancient sacred texts of India, jala neti has been celebrated for its cleansing and rejuvenating properties.
This technique was considered an essential part of maintaining overall well being.
In the yogic tradition, jala neti became a vital element of a set body of purification practices called shatkarmas, or six cleansing techniques.
It was specifically intended to cleanse and prepare the airways for unobstructed breathing, a fundamental requirement for meditation and advanced yoga practices. So basically, this was something that they were doing to clean the airways, uh, as part of their yoga regimen, right?
From what I gather, yes.
Yeah.
By clearing nasal passages, practitioners believed they were also cleansing the subtle energy channels, or nadis, for enhanced focus and mindfulness. Hmm. I mean, it's definitely easier to focus when you can breathe.
You can say that again. In Ayurveda Salcha, or personal hygiene, is emphasized as a critical component of health.
Performing jala neti daily was part of this routine, akin to brushing teeth or washing the body.
It was believed to help clear impurities from the nasal passages, enhance respiratory functions, and prevent ailments caused by environmental irritants or allergens, like pollen.
Well, they were onto something there.
Yes.
By the late 19th century, nasal irrigation attracted the attention of Western physicians and gradually gained popularity as an effective method for relieving sinus congestion and reducing allergy symptoms.
So now we're going to get into it. Today, it is practiced worldwide and supported by clinical studies for its benefits in managing chronic sinusitis, reducing nasal inflammation, and improving overall nasal health.
Beyond its physical benefits, jala neti also regarded in traditional practices as a tool for mental clarity and spiritual alignment. My
And you,
spirit feels aligned when I can breathe better too.
yeah, and I'm here to tell you, I can tell when I don't use my nasal rinse or nasal irrigation system. Oh, can I ever tell? We're in the heat of pollen season right now.
Oh, yeah, no. Anyway, we live in the South, so it's nothing but blooming something all the time.
Oh, right now most people have snow here in Georgia. We have yellow dust.
Everywhere, covering
Uh,
everything.
everything.
And if the wind blows, you can see it blowing with it.
Oh yeah. You can even like see it in the footprints in some of the stores. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right by the
Absolutely.
door.
Yes.
Okay, so this ancient technique continues to bridge the gap between tradition and modern medicine, offering a timeless method for holistic health.
So what happened to the practice of nasal irrigation?
Well, glad you asked because I've got an answer. Antibiotics,
Mm-hmm.
particularly penicillin, marked a transformative era in medical history.
These powerful drugs provided a groundbreaking means of combating bacterial infections and saving countless lives.
However, this monumental achievement inadvertently hindered the progression of natural remedies and advancements in methods like nasal irrigation.
As antibiotics became the cornerstone of modern medicine, traditional approaches that emphasized holistic, drug-free methods of healing took a back seat.
Over time, the limitations and unintended consequences of antibiotic reliance began to surface.
While effective in addressing acute bacterial infections, the overuse and misuse of antibiotics led to a series of challenges for human health.
Here I say we should plan to do one for antibiotics and overuse and misuse.
Agreed.
Penicillin has a great story too, so maybe that'll be its own thing.
It's just, bread mold.
Well, not all bread mold is penicillin.
No, no. But it comes from bread mold.
Yes, it does come from bread mold. So the immune system, which thrives on adapting to and overcoming natural pathogens, face strains due to the excessive application of these drugs.
This, in turn, weakened the body's ability to maintain its innate defenses against illnesses.
Moreover, the over-reliance on antibiotics contributed to the emergence of antibiotic resistance bacteria, with MRSA becoming a particularly dangerous example.
MRSA or MRSA is also called methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. These resistant strains posed a significant threat, challenging healthcare providers and fueling the search for alternative approaches to health management.
The growing recognition of these issues sparked a renewed interest in preventive solutions aimed at fortifying the body's natural healing capabilities.
A shift in focus toward natural, drug free remedies underscored the need for approaches that worked in harmony with the human body's complex systems.
Saline nasal irrigation, once overshadowed by pharmaceutical interventions, regained attention as an effective method for enhancing respiratory health and preventing illnesses.
Its ability to support the body's natural processes without introducing external drugs made it an appealing choice for those seeking alternatives to traditional medicine.
This revival of interest in nasal irrigation reflected a broader movement toward preventive health care, a philosophy centered on maintaining well being and avoiding illness, rather than solely addressing symptoms after they arise.
As awareness of antibiotic overuse and its consequences grew, the exploration of strategies that empowered the immune system and minimized reliance on pharmaceuticals became increasingly vital.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This Mother's Day, give a gift that is truly special, one that captures memories, preserves love, and lasts for generations.
With Tellmail.ai, you can turn your cherished memories into a timeless keepsake. It's simple. Each call unlocks new chapters, bringing to life the moments, laughter, and wisdom that defines your family's history.
After every conversation, Mel carefully transcribes and edits the stories into beautifully written memoir chapters, which can be shared with your family.
These chapters can be compiled into a stunning hardcover book or a digital keepsake, ensuring that your family's legacy is never lost.
This Mother's Day, give more than just a gift. Give the magic of storytelling, a legacy that will be cherished for generations. Start today at tellmail.ai. This May, Spirit of 76 Fireworks is lighting up the sky with purpose, introducing Power of Pink, a dazzling 25-shot cake that supports breast cancer awareness year-round.
While October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the fight never stops. That's why Power of Pink keeps the conversation alive and honors those affected every single day.
A portion of every Power of Pink sale goes directly to breast cancer research and supports organizations. So when you celebrate, you're also making a difference.
Light up the night, spark change, the power of pink, because awareness shines brighter when we stand together.
Find a retailer near you at 76fireworks.com. That's 76fireworks.com. Innovations in saline nasal irrigation paired with advanced delivery systems showcase the potential for integrating ancient practices with modern technologies to create sustainable solutions for long-term health. You know, so I get what they're saying. We're the nasal rinse is to help prevent it becoming like a sinus infection. It's preventing it before it gets too far out of hand to where you need something to actually take care of it.
Right, right.
Okay.
Nasal irrigation can be an effective remedy for relieving symptoms of sinus infections, allergies, colds, and flu.
This practice helps to clear mucus, allergens, and other irritants from your nasal passages, keeping them moisturized and improving overall nasal health. I'm going to be honest with you, since I've started using this saline rinse, I can tell a huge difference in me. And my wife says I don't snore nearly as much as I once did.
Well, that's good. So
Yeah,
maybe she's getting some sleep too.
maybe. I don't know. I
The
know I
way
am.
Nace, but you probably were regardless.
Yeah, probably until she would like wake me up and stop snoring.
Move, roll over, cough, do something.
Yeah, I think she says she just like pushes me and then I just like roll over and stop.
The way nasal irrigation works is to relieve nasal congestion by thinning and loosening thick mucus. This makes it easier to clear from your nasal passages, providing relief from stuffiness and congestion.
Additionally, by flushing out allergens, irritants, and debris, nasal irrigation can reduce irritation and inflammation in the nasal passages and sinuses, leading to a more comfortable breathing experience.
The saline solution used in nasal irrigation helps to keep the nasal passages moisturized.
This is particularly beneficial in dry indoor environments or when you have a cold or flu, as it prevents the nasal passages from becoming dry and irritated.
And making the symptoms of whatever you got worse.
Yeah,
Some evidence also suggests that nasal irrigation may help prevent or reduce the severity of sinus infections and other respiratory illnesses by removing pathogens and allergens from the nasal cavity. Um, I do have to concur since I'm on the tail end of my sinus infection. Finally, I can breathe mostly.
good.
Um, but it was definitely helpful for the days that I still had distilled water. Because I keep forgetting to buy some more. Um, but it
You,
really did help me clear stuff out so where I could at least breathe for a little while.
I don't got to where I have to do it before I go to bed now. Clearing the nasal passages through nasal irrigation can improve airflow and make breathing easier, especially for those with allergies or sinus problems like myself.
Right. Additionally, rinsing before using a medicated nasal spray can help clean the nasal passages, allowing the medication to work more effectively. Also true because I definitely had some nasal spray right to boot afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
But because you know there's always a but.
Nasal irrigation is generally considered safe when performed correctly, but there are some potential risks to be aware of.
One major risk is infection, which can occur if the water used for irrigation is not clean. This can introduce bacteria or other pathogens into the nasal passages.
Many people have heard news stories about brain-eating microbes such as amoeba niglaria, which can cause amoebic meningoencephalitis or PAM if ingested.
And my daughter, when as soon as I started doing the nasal irrigation, she's like, Dad, have you heard about this brain-eating microbes? So I had to include
Yes, I'm sure she was worried about your brain-eating microbes when you
it.
was using tap water.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Most cases of PAM are associated with swimming in water containing the amoeba, but cases linked to nasal irrigation typically involve the use of untreated tap water. Using distilled or boiled water can protect against Naegleria and reduce the risk of infection. Yes, make sure you use distilled water. Don't use
Or
tap
boiled
water.
water,
Yeah,
but
but
you have to boil it for at least what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I would
five
say 10
minutes.
minutes,
Yeah.
something like that.
And don't use it when it's hot. Make sure you kind of get it cooled down a little bit.
You let it cool. Goodness gracious, do not put boiling water through your nose.
Yeah.
When performing nasal irrigation, it's crucial to use water that doesn't contain substances that could irritate your sinuses or make you sick. So don't use
Regular.
lake water either.
Yeah, no. Don't use what kind of water?
Lake water,
Oh, yeah.
pond water, none of that.
Oh, no, don't
For
use any
sure
of that.
not still water, okay? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Regular tap water typically has trace amounts of minerals, germs, pesticides, and other substances that you definitely don't want to introduce into your sinuses.
I have made the mistake of using tap water in a neti pot, so you're not alone.
Okay.
For safe nasal irrigation, it is recommended to use distilled or sterile water.
Distilled water is purified through a process that removes materials which could irritate your nasal passageways and germs that could potentially make you sick.
Always look for the label distilled when purchasing water for this purpose.
Another option that we talked about is boiling water. You got to make sure you boil it for at least 5 minutes, as this is going to kill any harmful organisms that are in that water.
Yes, kill the bad things. If you can't use it immediately, place a lid on the container and use the water within 24 hours.
Lastly, filtered water can also be used. Certain water filters can remove harmful organisms, making the water safe for nasal irrigation.
The Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, provides detailed guidance on which filters are safe for this practice.
And we advise you to look that up if you're going to use filtered water to make sure that you're getting all the stuff out that you need to get out.
Right.
All right. By using the appropriate type of water, you can ensure that your nasal irrigation process is both safe and effective.
Additionally, water can enter the ear canal during irrigation, leading to an ear infection, which also does not help sinus issues. Okay.
No,
Some people may also experience allergic reactions to the ingredients in the irrigation solution. So some people might have more of a sensitivity to the sodium chloride mixture.
another potential risk is nasal dryness, which can result from overuse of nasal irrigation. This can further cause irritation.
Improper use of irrigation devices can also cause injury to the nasal passages, so it is important to follow instructions carefully. You
Yes.
don't want to create any more inflammation than is already going on.
Yeah, make sure you read those directions. The irrigation device should be cleaned thoroughly after each use. Individuals with an active ear infection or weakened immune system or a history of nasal polyps should avoid nasal irrigation. Anyone with underlying medical conditions should consult healthcare professionals before using any type of home remedy, especially nasal irrigation.
Absolutely. We are not medical professionals.
No, I can't say we can't say that enough on this show.
We can only give you anecdotal evidence.
There
And
you
that's the
go.
best we can do. All right. It is important to follow proper precautions to avoid potential risks. If there are any concerns, it is always best to consult a healthcare professional.
When it comes to the frequency of nasal irrigation, it is generally safe to do a nasal wash once or even twice daily while experiencing symptoms.
Some people without symptoms irrigate daily or a few times a week to prevent sinus infections or allergy symptoms. To irrigate your nose, start by washing your hands with soap and water.
Clean the
Clean the
container.
digits. They
Oh,
touch
yeah.
everything.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you wash your hands. Definitely want to
Warm
make sure you
water with
wash your.
soap for at least 2 minutes.
So you want to clean the container you'll be using, whether it's a neti pot or a nasal rinse bottle or another container that doesn't come with pre-filled solutions.
It's best to perform this procedure over a sink to make cleanup easier.
Next, prepare the nasal irrigation solution.
If your container comes with saline powder, follow the instructions to mix the solution.
Yes. And if you want to do a homemade solution mix, you can mix 1 or 2 cups of distilled or boiled water with at least a half to a quarter teaspoon of non-iodized salt, avoiding iodized salt like table salt.
Mhm. If you're using boiled water, be sure to boil it for at least 5 minutes.
Once the solution is ready, pour it into the container you'll use for the rinse.
If you boil the water, wait until it is cooled to lukewarm before using it.
Lean over the sink, look down, and turn your head to one side so that one ear is facing the sink and the other is toward the ceiling.
This positioning will allow the water to flow from the top nostril and spill out of the bottom one.
Begin the irrigation by breathing through your mouth.
Yeah, you don't want to breathe in through your nose, okay? That's
No, don't do that.
you not trying to inhale the saline solution. By mouth only. Mouth breathe for a minute. Place the container's tip or spout inside your top nostril until it forms a gentle seal. You don't want to like push it too hard and you don't want to have it too far out. Just lightly put it on there.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it doesn't take a lot. Tilt the container or squeeze the bottle so that the solution flows through your top nostril and exits through the bottom one, trickling into the sink. That is important.
Yes. Otherwise you're just getting water everywhere and maybe
That's,
mucus.
yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Continues the solution. Continue until the solution is finished.
Afterwards, blow your nose forcefully to expel any remaining solution or leftover mucus.
You can do this over the sink or into a tissue. Repeat these steps to irrigate the other nostril.
I can't imagine blowing my nose into the sink. It would have to be it would have to be
Mm-mm.
into the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By following these steps, you can effectively irrigate your nose and enjoy relief from nasal congestion and irritation.
Nasal irrigation is a simple yet effective way to maintain clear passages, reduce congestion, and improve overall sinus health.
For individuals with certain medical conditions or concerns, always consult your healthcare professional.
Absolutely. When done correctly, nasal irrigation can be a valuable addition to a daily wellness routine, promoting better breathing and sinus health.
And I guess here we should say, there's all kind of different nasal irrigation systems on the market today. And I would highly suggest buying pre-filled solutions. I wouldn't suggest making your own personally.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I also just second just to buy the distilled water. I don't know. Because you never know, without testing, you never know what's in your water or coming from your pipes or anything like that. And there are some things that don't come out when you boil water.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I know we're going to do one on water treatment plants eventually, but there's a lot of stuff that they put in the water to treat the water before it comes through the tap too. So,
Hmm.
which
Chlorine.
yeah, absolutely. And
Chlorine is one I can name off the top of my head, but there's many others.
I thought this was really interesting.
Me too. I can't believe I'm still shocked that it goes back 5,000 years.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have thought that. And did you Google any images before we started this?
Mm-mm.
You should Google some of the 19th century things they had, like, oh my gosh, like the hot water bottles.
Oh no, that
Yeah, they
sounds scary.
well, it wasn't like a hot water bottle, but that's kind of what it looked like. It looked like this bottle that you would hold up that would have like this big tube that would go into your nose, and I guess they would squeeze it.
I feel like I've seen like a similar video to that. Well, there's been all kinds of uh holistic remedies to getting rid of congestion and sinus congestion and everything else like that.
So I just wonder what advancements we would have in nasal irrigation if, antibiotics are great. Don't get me wrong for what I'm about to say. But I just wonder what the advancements would have been if doctors would have homed in on nasal irrigation before antibiotics. Like,
Or, I mean, I wonder how, because a lot of the holistic remedies or anything like that have not been studied by scientists. So the first answer is, oh, well, it's not backed by science, so it's probably wrong.
yeah,
But it just hasn't been studied. So it is not necessarily wrong if it's been the same for thousands of years. You know what I mean?
yeah. And my doctor straight up told me, he's like, I'm not going to do the antibiotics. We're going to try something different, and which led me down this road of nasal irrigation. And I'm going to be honest with you, it has been life-changing for me.
Right. Well, and hats off to him really because it's you hear more and more how doctors just kind of prescribe, pills for everything these days. And not only that, like what we're going to talk about in our episode about antibiotics overuse and misuse, if they're overprescribed and you actually have something that you need antibiotics for it, your body's going to be used to it and it's not going to help you at all, which is
Yeah.
probably the scariest part when it comes to MRSA and everything else like that. Like that's the flesh-eating bacteria and everything else.
But when you really need it, your immune system's not built up
Right. And it gets
because
bad.
yeah, because of the reliance. Yeah, we're gonna dig into that for sure.
Well, that's all I have for now.
That's all I got to.
If you would like to support this podcast,
Click the support link in the show notes.
William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
Subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Email us at
infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
yes, that is all one word. Till next time.
Stay curious.
Hey, this episode is brought to you by ChatDoc. It is an AI powered tool designed to help users interact with documents using natural language. It allows you to upload PDFs and other document formats.
You can chat with them to extract key information, summarize content, and analyze details efficiently. With ChatDoc, you can click on any word in the AI-generated answer to jump to the cited sentence.
So, Kat and I love to use ChatDoc when we're writing our episodes because we're able to share information. But not only that, we're able to cite the information that we're actually putting in to make sure that it is valid information,
Right, exactly. Verify.
verified. So, check it out at ChatDoc.